Yeah, I
Same
saw
thing
it.
at time.
Yeah. Yeah. No density. Just fields of land.
Carrie will be here. She's just in traffic.
Okay.
Carrie will be here. She's just in traffic.
We have a quorum. We have a quorum. Yeah. If she's running late, we still have a quorum. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is this gonna? Are we gonna have a quorum? Yeah.
You don't have to wait if you guys don't want to, because we have a quorum.
Let's get again. It's up to the chair. It's up to Zach. It's just chit chat.
The guy that presented? Okay. His wife's a pediatrician.
It is October 2nd, 2025, and the time is 5:06 p.m. I hereby call to order the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Board of the City of Groveland, Florida. Thank you for joining us for the city's P&Z board meeting. On behalf of myself, the Vice Chair, all board members, and staff, we hope you and your families are well. All votes will be received by roll call vote. For board discussion, I will call on each board member individually to avoid members talking over one another. We will also be taking public comment during this meeting as well. At this time, Maria, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Chair Zach Decker.
Present.
Vice Chair Robin Hoover. Here. Board Member Carrie Lambert. Here. Board Member Stephen Shakowski. Board Member. He's absent. Board Member Alicia Kizzy Garcia.
Here.
Board Member Lindsay Crum.
Present.
Board Member Michael Archer. He's absent. Non-voting member Bill Mathias. Absent. Community and Economic Development Director Tim Maslow.
Here.
City Attorney Anita Gerasi Carver. Here. Recording Secretary Maria Ramirez. Here.
Thank you, Maria. We have a quorum. If you will please stand, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Maria, will you please read the consent agenda item?
Consideration of approval of the August 7, 2025 Planning and Zoning Board meeting minutes.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda item?
Motion to accept.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. It's going on to, we do not have any old business. New business. Item number 1, the recommendation of approval on ordinance 2025-25. Maria, will you please read the title?
Recommendation of approval on ordinance 2025-25 Agrarian Code. An ordinance of the City of Groveland, County of Lake, State of Florida, amending the Community Development Code in Article 5 to add a new section 5.6 to allow agrarian uses within certain zoning districts within the City of Groveland, including zoning districts in the Green Swamp area of critical state concern, providing definitions and standards to support agricultural, local food systems, and sustainable land practices consistent with the comprehensive plan, providing for conflicts, codification, and severability, for providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Maria. Mr. Jones, would you like to present?
Yes, before we start, we'll have a brief video, and then we'll go ahead and move forward with the presentation.
Yeah, Jeremiah, if you could cue the video, I'll just give a little brief intro in terms of why we're playing the video. You know, many a times we bring in, whether it be applications or policy changes or code changes, and conversation could get very technical very quick. But I thought it would be a good time just to kind of take a step back and remind ourselves about what the vision for Groveland is, what aligns with their strategic plan. And I can't believe it's been 5 years ago now that we adopted the new future land use and the new code. And we're starting to see some of the communities come to fruition. Now they've been going through platting and seeing some horizontal and vertical development there. But there's a big component of that vision when we came out here to Groveland to really protect the heritage of that agrarian history here in Groveland, and do that in a unique way that actually is interesting for the people who are moving here to take advantage of that. Even if they're not farming, they could enjoy that. And Lindsay, I wish Dan was here. We'll have to get him at the council meeting,
I
of
know.
course, with everything that Dan Corsi has been doing with the community-supported agriculture and, you know, bringing that agrarian economy to downtown and kind of expanding on that. So that's going to be fun to see scale up. I even took a book called Garden Cities, Theory and Practice of Agrarian Urbanism. There are really two books that we looked at, and I'm realizing no one on the P&Z board today was on the board then. It's all new. We've had a complete different change there. Of course, your mayor used to be the chair of the Planning and Zoning Board, so he remembers this book. And if you haven't had the chance to see this, let me know. I could share the copy or order you a new copy if you're interested. There's actually some really good presentations from Andres Duani, who wrote this book. But it kind of, again, the whole purpose is, instead of thinking of agriculture and community development as separate, how do those things intertwine? You know, we created these new community types like the town, the village, and the hamlet. And I recognize that Mr. Proctor is just getting in here, who's new alternate again. But I remember making that presentation, and Marty actually got up, and at first I think he mentioned something like he thought I was out of my mind, but then he actually came around. Do you remember that?
That was funny.
The hamlet community is the one that really got the most interest and attention because it was kind of smaller scale, quaint, 50% open space. It had some, you know, pockets of urbanism and mixed use, if you will. But it was really the one that introduced agriculture as a part of the vision. And so there's a quick 5-minute video. This is from several years ago on the Today Show, actually, where they visited this community, Serenbe, that we used as the model for writing the hamlet community type. So everything that you see in the code and in policy in terms of the hamlet, it's all predicated on this community. And the idea is, before, again, we get too technical, to think about the greater why behind why we're having these standards and why we're introducing more detail around the various agrarian uses that you could use depending on the context of where you are in the city, you know, based on zoning. So that said, yeah, let's watch the video, and then we'll go into the presentation and talk about the actual technical standards before we vote. Turn it up, that would be great.
Volume.
that gets, again, the greater why of why we're doing this. It's about quality of life. It's, if people are going to move here, the people who live here already, how do we integrate those uses? When you think city with natural charm, my mind goes to something like that. And maybe it's not exactly like that, but when you see, the trails that aren't necessarily paved, when you see, kids petting goats, you see the backyard chickens, the gardens, the community farm, the fact that the restaurants use the food that's grown locally by the farmers. It's not to say everybody who lives there is farming, but those are the views also, which, again, it goes back to quality of life and experience. So obviously we have a lot of PUDs and a lot of communities that don't necessarily match up with that, but how do we retrofit those communities? How do we shift some of these PUDs more in this kind of direction? And that's, again, the idea of our future land use, our code, and also these additional sprinkled in improvements to the code, I would say, that you're about to hear from Dwayne.
Thank you, Tim.
You got it, man.
P&Z board members, I will be going through a presentation about Ordinance 2025-25, the Agrarian Code. Let me see if I... So the Agrarian Code kind of coincides, as you know, we've been working on this for a while now. It's been some time. I believe we kind of focused on this, I want to say last November, and we're finally here. So good thing about the Agrarian Code, it falls in line with one of our strategic plan priorities, which is an eco-agrarian lifestyle. So as you think about the eco-agrarian lifestyle, you can ask the question is, what is eco-agrarian? And as you can see, it kind of tells you there, but I'll read the first two sentences. And it says, eco-agrarian is a lifestyle that connects Groveland residents and visitors with nature and each other. It provides purpose and support for preserving our natural areas and agricultural lands. And then as you can see, what is the current state? The current state of Groveland provides a monthly farmers market and aquaponics farm and opportunities for outdoor recreation such as kayaking, biking, and fishing. And then we also will eventually need to add the Agrarian Code to the current state as well. The goal statement for the strategic plan, as you can see, as provided there on the right-hand side, it says, become a close-knit community in which all activities are thoughtfully integrated into existing ecosystems and to enhance healthy development, self-reliance, and maintain a continued eco-agrarian way of life. And the core values include vitality, intentionality, and connectivity. So as we looked at our new Agrarian Code, we realized in our existing community code, there is some conflict as far as what our vision is for the Agrarian Code. So as you can see right here on the screen, Section 10.10 kind of prohibits the use of possession of farm animals and fowls, which is a conflict to what we're trying to accomplish here. So when we approve this ordinance, we'll need to repeal this section as well concurrently. For those who don't know, on March 4th of this year, we had a locals farmers farmit. We thought it would be important to reach out to the local farmers to get their perspectives on how they kind of see the eco-agrarian lifestyle, and they were provided a lot of input on topics, as you can see here, from livestock farming, agritourism, forestry farming, and some of the preferred agrarian uses for the residential communities. Lindsay Krong was there, as well as her husband and a couple of the local farmers within the community. As you can see on our Agrarian Code, hopefully everyone had an opportunity to look at it over the weekend and earlier this week. It provides permitted uses along the transect. As you can see right there on the right-hand side, our transect that we use for our community development code, we're applying it to the agrarian code. And some of the permitted uses that are along the transect include gardens, farms, and foodscapes, as well as accessory structures. The agrarian uses proposed in open spaces and parks will be done and reviewed on a case-by-case basis, and that includes existing and new residential communities. Properties within HOAs or POAs will be required to provide written approval the same way you would do if you were submitting a fence permit. You will need a HOA approval for that as part of your application submittal. And as you can see here, these are the agrarian uses that we are including in our agrarian code. We have everything from tractor farm, hand-tended farm orchard, forgeable wilderness, community gardens, rooftop gardens, front yard gardens, aquaponics, apiary. Apiary is in red, and there's a reason for that. You can see there's an X by that picture. I'll explain that on the next slide. Chicken coops, rain harvesting, that pretty sure Robin would like, hydroponics, and a hoop house. Skip the slide. Let me see if I can go back one more. Thank you. Appreciate it, whoever did that. So the apiary, we realized after we submitted the material for you over the weekend, our city attorney did some researching and we realized there's some conflict with our code ordinance for the agrarian code and what the state regulates. And I'll just read it verbatim. It says, the authority to regulate, inspect, and permit manage honeybee colonies, to adopt rules on placement and location of registered managed honeybee colonies is preempted to the state and supersedes a city ordinance. The statute allows an apiary to be located on land classified as agricultural by the property appraiser for purposes of providing ag exemption for real estate tax purposes or on land integral to a beekeeping operation. So staff is going to recommend to delete the apiary from table A1 uses per zone, which is on the transect table, since it's in conflict with the state law. We will include the definition in the ordinance, but we will add additional language, and it will read, the authority to regulate, inspect, and permit is preempted to the state of Florida. So although we'll remove it from the table, we'll also keep it within the actual agrarian code and add that additional language to it. I also wanted to hand out the beekeeper compliance agreement so everyone had an opportunity to see what the requirements are by the state.
Right away, I'm like, Jesus.
You don't have to read it all now, but when you get an opportunity, just go over it, and if you have any questions, just let us know. Staff does recommend approval of ordinance 2025 with a condition that apiary is removed from table A, uses per zone, due to it being preempted to the state and supersedes the city ordinance. We're going to also add another caveat that we also need to repeal section 10.5, I believe, 10.2, in regards to the conflict with the possession of foul animals. I do have some slides that are hidden if we want to go into detail on each agrarian use if we need to, if you have any further questions on that. But staff is recommending approval on ordinance 2025 at this time, 2025-25 at this time.
Wayne, can you clarify on this apiary stuff? It looks like you can have beekeeping operations in non-agricultural land based on. So what are, help me understand more, more abridged version of why we cannot have an apiary.
We're basically just going to define it and kick it to the state for review, rather than us adding into the permitted use table and us dictating what zones and what locations where it's permitted.
Would it make sense to put in there apiary if permitted by state permit? Because I think we could.
Language is in there, if I'm not mistaken.
It's in there currently, yes, I looked at it.
So on page 4 of the actual ordinance, it does say colonies of honeybees are permitted so long as owner or the beekeeper is registered with the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services and meets the department's best management practices and service guidelines. And then we're adding that additional language that Dwayne read.
Got it. Okay, thank you for the clarification. Okay, board comment? Do you have anything else before we, okay. All right, I suspect that board member Hoover and Crum will have some valuable contributions. So we will start to my left and work that way.
Actually, okay, so you all have seen what I started with originally. That's what Dwayne pointed out to. Remember this? That's what I started. And then by the next time, I was down to one Post-it note. So I actually don't have any Post-it notes today.
Wow.
Wild. I know. I feel almost unprepared. So I have to say kudos, because I feel that showing that our agrarian use code is going to support things like the community garden, farm stands. Like, I have several neighbors in my low-density neighborhood that are already planting gardens and farm stands. You know, like, they've got a plan, like, this might go. So that income and that thought is already there. So anything, we're not going to reinvent the wheel, right? We're going to make the wheel move forward to where we need it to be. So I think that part's great. When it comes to the photo aspect of the agrarian uses, I would love to see whatever that community garden is disappear and actually put in the Leslie B. Roberts Community Garden in Groveland into that photo. I know it's not, you know, super green yet, but everything is growing and seeds are coming up currently. So being the secretary on that board, I would love to see that updated to actually be a current picture from our community garden in Groveland. Now, so that's it for that part. I still, you laugh about water. When it comes down to the harvesting rainwater, I think one of the things that Lindsay and I talked about last time was like max amount of how much rainwater. And that's still not quite mentioned on here. It doesn't give you, like, it tells you how or why, but the cistern scenario still isn't on here. But I could go out tomorrow and buy a 1,000-gallon water holder and put it in my back property, and, you know, there's no limit. So some of the big ones, I mean, they really can be, that I looked into, well over 1,000 gallons.
Is there a setback, though, limit on the?
There,
Is there a set, like,
Yes.
because I mean, there has to be setbacks from the fence and the house. So that would actually limit the size, in my opinion.
depending on the size of the land.
Well, I mean, if I got 10 acres, 1,000 gallons sounds amazing to me.
So that was one thing that I still, with rain harvesting, site plan indicating location and setback. So yes to Lindsay's question. All systems should supply and comply, and allocated to the rear of the property, not visible. Again, there's no minimum, maximum limit on that. And I don't know, maybe somehow down the way that could come back to haunt us. I think
Still talking about rain harvesting, right?
yeah, rain
Yeah, rain
barrels. I think it's
harvesting.
page 4. I think it's on the neck, right here on the left.
Well, did you see how it says site plan including location and setbacks? They still have to submit it to get it approved. So if someone's going to submit a 1,000-gallon tank on a .05, they could submit it, but I don't think it's going to approve it.
But just, so there's no limits there. Just be
Are
mindful
you,
of
are
that.
you recommending that we provide a cap?
Yeah, maybe a max allowed, something along that line, just because you never know. Like, what if somebody comes in and they want to do a 5,000 and they're going to use everything in their, I don't know, like, who knows, but
Could be something where it's tied to be proportionate with the size of the building,
with the size of the lot.
perhaps. It's one of those
Yeah.
things where we don't want to over-regulate necessarily, and a lot of these will be in backyards, which are problematic for code compliance, anything in the backyard.
I mean, to be
But we
fair,
could treat
people-
it kind of like in the way where we spoke about accessory dwelling units maybe a couple years ago when we updated that in the code, where we just wanted to make sure it was proportionate to the actual property, that the size of the zoning district in terms of yard size and the size of the building type, because you could have a lot of variation. You could have a large commercial scale or industrial scale building, or even like Whole Foods usually have big rainwater cisterns next to the building, and they kind of want to show it off. But that scale of a cistern for a large grocery store, you wouldn't want to be applied to a smaller residential house on like a 50-foot wide lot too. So we could, if you provide a condition of approval with the recommendation that some kind of limitation on the scale of the rainwater harvesting be included in the code, we could do that prior to it going to city council.
Is the concern the unsightliness?
Well,
Because it does say here that it can't be visible from the public right-of-way.
but, and I know that some are partially underground, some are above ground, some are, so it just depends, I guess. I don't,
I mean, it has to be approved, and again,
It does have to be
I think
approved.
people are gonna still do what they wanna do, but again, that's why we have code enforcement. So, I mean, I see your concern, but I don't think it's enough to change,
But I just wanted to bring it up because
I hear you.
otherwise it wouldn't be me if I didn't, right?
It's true.
So when it comes down to it, a lot of the things and a lot of the concerns that originally I had have all been, most of them have been met and added into this already. Or, we've had valid reasons of why we can't do that in this case. But to be honest with you, I'm excited to see this move forward to council. And anybody else? Go ahead, Lindsay. Are we going down the row, Zach?
Yeah, Board Member Crum?
I really did, I mean, I do agree that apiary should be taken off. Beekeeping is not for the weak, and it does have a lot of things that could go wrong. And I do feel, I mean, it says 3 colonies on 1/4 acre. Well, that takes out the entire, who has a true 1/4 acre in downtown? So I agree with that. That was all I had. Everything else is fine to me.
Okay.
I don't have any additional comments.
Stroke.
I'm sorry.
Carrie?
Have any comments?
Wow.
Disappointed in you, Carrie. Just kidding.
Okay, this might be the quickest. Okay, well, seeing as there are no further board comments, I'd like to open this for public comment. Marty, you're not scheduled till 5:40. You got 1 minute left.
Marty Proctor, 18225 Rose Street, Groveland. Hi, everybody. With regards to the water thing, watch the line between retention and catchment. Because if I came in and I wanted to put a 5,000-gallon catchment in, I would call it retention and call it stormwater. So, it's just a matter of cleverness with the, I'm just saying this, you got to be careful of that. We've run into this lots on this board with the state laws superseding the city ordinances. I think it's great that you're ahead of it. And that we're addressing this before it comes and we have a conflict. We create a conflict, we're eliminating conflicts. Again, I'll remind you guys of the food truck debacle where the state took over control of all the regulation and all the rules and everything with regards to the food trucks, creating essentially the wild, wild west. And again, I'm not saying what's good, what's bad. It's a sea change. And I think we're going to continue to see this happen where the state takes more and more of the control, if you will, away from us. And we're going to have to go through this process again like we did then, eliminating 7 pages of ordinance, I think, because the state superseded us. So just those things are going to continue to happen. I love the idea of instead of saying no to a lot of things, saying yes to a lot of things. And then it's up to this board to start the process of putting guardrails on that. And again, if it becomes obvious that somebody's circumventing the rules, like they're mowing down the hill at the mansion property, we missed that. It won't happen again. Next time we'll put you can't change the elevation limits, limits on that, as opposed to them being able to just come in and deck the whole hill. Because we did miss that. We saved the trees, we saved the property, we got a better development. Oops, we missed the hill. So this is what the purpose of this board is to, as we hear these cases, we find new guardrails that need to be implemented. These guys will put it into code, and it'll be in code then. So this is cool. We worked on this a long time. I don't know how long ago we were on the master plan to get this started, but it's been several years. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, public comment is closed. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-25?
I move to approve ordinance 2025-2025 with the condition that the apiary is removed from the table A1 uses.
There was another condition that I think was recommended, and that was repealing section 10-2.
10-2.
10-2, would you
In
consider
addition to
amending your
removing
motion?
10-2.
I second that whole motion she just said.
Okay, so just to make sure we got the motion correct, it's a motion to approve ordinance 2025-25 on the conditions that the apiary is removed per the staff recommendation, and also repealing of section 10-2 from the current land development code. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
As well as putting a limitation cap on rain harvesting barrels, right? Is that? As well as putting a limitation cap on rain barrel harvesting? Is that what was one of the?
That's if Robin can convince
Well, that's
Alicia.
not up to me, that's the motion maker. So that's.
I'll leave the motion as it was made.
Same.
Okay.
Thank you, that's okay.
Is this a satisfactory motion, Anita? We're good, okay. All right, I will call for the vote. Board Member Hoover, how do you
Aye.
vote? All right, Board Member Lambert,
Aye.
Board Member Crum,
Aye.
Board Member Garcia,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion is approved. Okay, we've concluded our new business. We are opening this to public comment for the community for other items that may relate to this board. Are there any public comment? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Do we have any comments from the board members?
I do.
Yes.
Alan sent, I think it was last week. Carrie, pull your mic down. The email from Alan Booker when he went to the 2025 Tampa CNU Summit last month. In his email, he had talked about the architectural diversity and different housing styles in the Hyde Parks area in Tampa, which I agree it's come into our areas with the different styles that we approved in the codes and everything. I would like to see that more incorporated in the city of Groveland as we move forward with future developers and their requests and everything. I really liked the part where he had in the email about the townhomes showcasing 24 dwelling units. I don't know if y'all recall that picture. And I think something like that definitely fits within Groveland. I don't see anything else nearby similar to that, and being that it's small scale and our city is not as big as Claremont and everything, that's something that would fit very well within our city. Just to let the staff know, you know, for future, something like that with the codes. And also, I love the concept where he talked about urban garden, green urban revival, where he says we have like some kind of adaptive reuse to foster economic oh, I can't even say the word now.
Revitalization? Girl, it's a
Yeah, I
hard one.
got tongue-tied. And supporting the community and integrating farming into our neighborhood. So that's it. I just wanted to comment on that email. I thought it was very informative, and that's it. That's it for my comments.
Thank you for reading our content. We appreciate it.
Did
Yeah.
everyone receive that email?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
We're referring to the middle missing, that picture that you were talking about, like the different variety of housing?
Yeah, it's the one that said 24 dwelling. It was like a white.
Yeah, that was at Hyde Park. It's a suburban area right outside of Tampa.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what Carrie was saying, we're implementing that not exactly to that scale in Hyde Park, but with the new communities like Cypress Bluff and Rainwood, we do provide that diversity of housing types when you're talking about multifamily, attached townhomes, single family with different lot sizes, different architectural styles. So it might not look to the scale as Hyde Park, but we do have that in our code currently. Unfortunately, you don't see that out here because most of the existing neighborhoods are PUDs, pretty much tract home builders. But in the future, you'll see a major difference between what was approved in the past to what we're moving towards in the future.
But one question. I thought off of 27, when they took over, it was an old gas station. Weren't they supposed to be building, I think, in some apartments?
You mean the
It was a
atrocious,
Yeah.
abandoned, what is it, a hotel or something?
Milestone
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing supposedly a conversion to apartments.
Right.
There as well as across the street at Days Inn.
Right, and I think something like that picture would fit well, you know, right there. That's what I'm trying to,
Yeah, I believe right adjacent to it is Groveland Square. It's 100-some acres, and what they're doing is something similar to what you saw from the Hyde Park.
right.
Yeah, so very similar.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other board comments?
Yes.
All right.
I was telling you guys earlier, but I wanted it to be public comment. I attended a quarterly workshop for Main Street Association, which is a nonprofit association, and it was in Plant City. So I got to see how they've been revitalizing their downtown, and it was quite incredible. They talked, it's open to the public, but you can go obviously for Main Street, but we are not yet. And we do have a CRA, but because Main Street is a nonprofit, they have the ability to fundraise with the community and get them more involved into caring more about your town. They talked a lot about SB 180 and options on how to combat that in the future, talking about different types of historic overlays that we could possibly pass that would protect our town. They talked a lot about historic preservation, which I know that City Council may have touched upon recently, but we don't have anything in place right now that protects anything from being torn down or demoed. We actually did a scenario where they talked about a 100-year-old building that was getting ready to be demoed because the owner didn't have the funds to revitalize it. And we talked a lot about the different options that could have been given to that owner to save it. And I thought that was very interesting since we had that just happen not too long ago. And we do have a lot of buildings in town that are in danger of basically crumbling to the ground at any moment. So I'm hoping to get more information for it, and I don't know if I will be the head of the whole thing to start it, but I wanted to at least let you guys know that there are organizations out there that could help us with those types of situations with Also having, you know, these vacant lots that aren't doing anything, the owners aren't doing anything, but that we could maybe put temporary things on it. We talked about the food trucks, how it is kind of like the Wild West, but giving them an avenue to park and to have people have a safe place to go, and it is managed properly. So I wanted that to just kind of be in the back of your brain. If you do want to talk to me more about it, I would love to, because I'm very excited about this town. So that's it.
Thank you, Board Member Crum.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I do have a comment as well, that I want to let the board know that Mr. Maslow and myself worked, primarily Tim did the work of putting
Did the hard
together he did the elbow, put the elbow grease into it, to put together a letter to the Lake County delegation, to our state representatives, to address SB 180. And I attended the delegation and made a presentation on behalf of Planning and Zoning Board and the city to kind of throw some suggestions out there. And so my understanding is I received a call from the mayor the next day that it was accepted quite well, and that the city and the county are trying to get together for further discussions on that. So very excited that the board is so involved outside of this meeting, and I appreciate all of your service, and so thank you. Do we have any further comments from staff?
Yeah, we want to give you a brief update on our ear. Did you want me, it's up to you. I can do it.
Go for it. You got it, Dwayne. Thanks.
Got a few slides. Give you an update on the ear. Everyone knows what ear is, right? Ear update?
Does it-
It's our evaluation and appraisal review. This is a requirement by a state every 7 years, and this is our term to start working on that. The ear update came at a great time with our new code, our new vision. And basically what the ear is to help see how well our comp plan is working and to inform any updates that may be needed to reflect changes in the community needs, growth trends, and environmental challenges. So we're in the process of updating our ear. We have Will Dan, who is our consultant, who is helping us process this to the state. And the overall project goals is to identify the need policy updates since 2020, address all updated state statutory requirements, meaningful engagements of all local stakeholders, sound data analysis, including demographic projections, local and regional economic trends and environmental conditions. And some of the policies that we're considering is economic development, local character, protection of natural assets, affordability, mobility and circulation needs, hazard mitigation, capital investment strategy. So it's a lot, it's pretty complex. Fully vetted comp plan amendments submitted in a timely manner to the state. I think we have a date of April 2026, sending that to the state for approval. Right now, we're on phase 2, which is the assembly of key inputs. There's 4 phases in all, so we're halfway there. And phase 2 kind of emphasize data and document needs, city leadership ear priorities, community engagement, which is important, project website development, and phase 2 deliverables. As I go into the next slide here, let's see if this slide is working. There we go. So our public engagement schedule is as follows. We have 2 this month, October the 21st at the Lake David Center. We have one on October the 22nd at Cherry Lake Charter School. And then we'll have one final one on Wednesday, November the 19th. It will be a joint workshop with the P&Z Board, the City Council. We'll also include CRA as well. And most of that, the meeting will be like a public engagement meeting. There will be Will Dan, who will provide a brief overview of what the ear is. We'll have some roundtables to talk about different topics such as housing, transportation, concurrency, capital improvements, those type of items. We'll have some staff members there as well as some consultants to kind of help the public get a better understanding and kind of see what their needs are. in the community.
Yeah, just to reiterate what Dwayne said, November 19th, hope to see you all there. We're actually expanding it out to also to include the Strategic Planning Committee and also the Recreation Advisory Committee, basically our Parks Board, just to make sure it's an all-inclusive opportunity for both City Council and all the advisory boards. It's going to be a publicly posted meeting because you all are under the sunshine for that. But I don't think we've done a meeting like that of its kind since I've been here with the city, with all the advisory boards and the council at one time. Again, it's going to be another opportunity to engage in terms of what the existing policies. Really critical to this are the levels of service, because we've talked a lot about the future land use element. We updated it, as you know, 5 years ago. But in terms of things like transportation element, our public facilities, which includes utilities, both potable water, wastewater, also includes public safety. We have a schools element. There's all sorts of, every service and infrastructure that the city provides, there's a certain levels of service that's adopted in there. So we're going to start comparing ours versus our vision, to make sure that, quantitatively we're where we need to be. But then in terms of a qualitative perspective, we're going to have some more robust standards around that. So an example is in our parks element, we have 6 acres of park space per 1,000 residents. But it's kind of quiet in terms of the diversity of park design, the park types, but then also the proximity of where those parks are located in terms of, are they in a walkable distance or a bikeable distance to the neighborhoods. So those are the kind of standards and policies we're going to be looking at, and we'll have an opportunity to give your feedback.
Thank you. We look forward to
I just passed
that.
out the last slide. As you can see at the top, this is a pretty cool interactive map, story map. Whenever you get a chance, there's a QR code. You can go to that site, and it'll take you to a survey. You can complete the survey, your voice, your plan, as you can see. So we want to get your input. Please share with all your fellow residents, community members around around Groveland. We're trying to get a nice attendance show out to come. So we've been reaching out to the local schools, churches. If you need an electronic copy to send out to anyone else, we can provide that to you as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Real quick, can you send me one so I can send to my HOA?
Electronic copy?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll send it to everyone. That's why everyone will have it.
Okay, it's been a kind of a light year for the board. Do we have any, we're coming into the end of the year here. We got
Next month, you will
November,
see.
December, where Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Next month, we have a full agenda. I foresee at least 5 to 6 items, most likely.
Oh.
Okay, so someone needs to bring the turkey. We'll be here for a while. All right, thank you.
Sounds good.
Anita, do you have any comments
Nothing.
for the board?
No.
Okay.
Other than I don't know if you're aware, you may have seen it on the news, but there was the lawsuit that was filed by 2 counties and many cities about SB 180. And I know there is local delegation are indicating they are going to suggest changes and try and get those through. But until then, this litigation is ongoing. Hopefully, we will see maybe an injunction come out that at least puts it on pause while the litigation's going on and give the legislators time to make changes. But I'll keep monitoring that. If something good develops or new, I'll let you know.
You're part of the lawsuit?
No,
Okay.
no. We could have, but why spend the money when others are doing it?
Okay,
Mr. Chairman?
Oh, sorry, I just wanted to say thank you, Tim, for sending out that webinar on October 15th about SB 180. I plan to attend that, and I'm very interested in that. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, I encourage everybody to attend. And again, thanks everyone for your service, not only in coming to these meetings, but, with the chair working on SB 180 and talking with our local delegates. That's a big effort. With Robin, working on the train depot, that's a whole nother story right there with a great team. Lindsay, your efforts, with your husband and the CSA and then the Main Street possible designation, that's really interesting. And Alicia, we got to find a little special project for you maybe.
She deals with all the realtors. Like, she's got enough
But it
to
takes
do.
that when we have a smaller city with less resources in terms of personnel and budget. Anytime we can get more people involved around our vision and all make contributions, all collaborate, that's what it's all about. Thank you.
Well done. Okay, well, we did close public comment, but I did see the mayor sneak in after that. I would reopen it if he has any statement to make. And he's being shy today. I heard that he thinks we're all doing a phenomenal job, and that's fine. He doesn't have to tell you, I will. All right, well, that concludes all of our business today. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved.